Thank you so much for attending my presentation about wynncraft 2.1 Acrobat. First, let's talk about how Acrobat functions. For those who don't know, Acrobat turns your spin attack into lacerate, which is basically a jet dash plus updraft, and that paired with hop and wall jump can be used to fly. Dash is used to supplement this, and a spin dash cycle. Acrobat mainly deals damage by flying over enemies, dealing damage with Jasmine Bloom shurikens, and by weaving other damaging spells in your spell cycle like multi-hit and smoke bomb. The ability Weightless gives you mana to help you sustain this playstyle. It's basically just AOT ODM gear. Pre-2.1 Acrobat was mainly used as Assassin's only real way to do loot runs and sometimes used in raids such as TNA, but Acrobat was stuck in this awkward place where it didn't have a lot of viability. Raids? Pre-2.1 Trickabat or Idle C spams better. Loot running? Use Warpinus or some hero/idle build. The one upside for Acrobat is if you're good, you just won't die, because, you know, it's ODM gear. It also did have some use, however, as a general archetype. That's probably one of the most engaging and fun in the game, as well as being the well-rounded. It's not often you'd see an Acrobat in pre-2.1 TNA, but it wouldn't be too rare either, especially with like pre-2.1 Cataclysm EGW Acrobats outputting huge numbers. So what changed for Acrobat? First, Lacerate had both its range and radius buff, which made it a more viable option for low flying, which I'm going to call skimming. However, to counteract the sheer force of Trickabat, Flow State had its damage buff nerfed from 50% to 30%, leaving a pretty big noticeable change to Acrobat's damage. Riding Reflex had its ability cost reduced from 2 to 1, but we don't really care about that. While Acrobat itself didn't have too many changes, Acrobat did receive some pretty big drawbacks in the form of Cataclysm, the main go-to DPS dagger getting nerfed pretty heavily. There are some changes made to semi-remedy this, but I highly doubt it's ever going to come back in force, which might be good considering, you know, 2.1, pre-2.1 Trickabat. Acrobat has also received probably the most from aspects, with some of the most noticeable being Martial Trance, Airborne, Seeking Stars, Sleight of Hand, Pinwheel, Gravity Defiance, all being incredible that can easily skyrocket Acrobat's damage. Some other miscellaneous ones, such as Stellar Fury, Redoublement, and Fog Machine, are pretty insane as well. For me, an Acro main, it's hard to see my main being forced into a realm of insecurity after having our DPS taken away. Luckily, Hanafubuki, a new dagger is introduced. And then it gets fucking nerfed. Hanafubuki, put lightly, is fucking insane. It'll probably never get the same heights as Cataclysm, but has done an amazing job of filling in. It required a pretty heavy nerf in the fact that it had to have its major ID reworked. Unfortunately, it's also one of the anti-mythics, and, what the fuck is this? 40 stacks for a decent one? What the f? With this, same as Shade Stepper, I highly doubt Acro's, like, stance or viability will change, and it'll probably just continue being a good general archetype for the Wynn community to come. However, it has risen in popularity, whether that be just how good Hanafubuki is, or how good Acro is in general, especially in Nest of the Gruntlings. Although obviously not as insane as holy fucking hell 53 seconds clear absolution or whatever the record is, it still comes in pretty close with insane spread damage and damage overall. Overall, I don't think Acrobats will change that much in terms of usage and viability, but I can definitely see it being used a lot more. It's definitely been used a lot more in my, like, Nest of the Gruntlings runs, etc. It's still the funnest of all the classes to play, in my opinion. Please don't flame me, and hopefully it'll stay that way. If you ever wanted to try Acrobat, now's the perfect time with all the buffs and the new mythic. If you enjoyed this presentation, please consider liking or subscribing.